Hello and welcome to my channel. I'd like to talk to you about my own personal paranormal experiences. My very first paranormal experience was when I was about 4 to 5 years old, where one night I had my granddad come and visit me and my sisters in my room at night. And the long and short of it is that I believed at the time it happened, but according to what my mum told me years later, because she didn't want to tell me at the time because she knew that I wouldn't understand, but years down the line she told me that my granddad had passed away a year to that day. And there wasn't anything at the time that I was fearful of, scared of, or anything like that. It just seemed like my granddad had come and paid me and my sisters a visit, and it was very normal. He walked into the room and he kissed me on the forehead and he kissed my little sister, who was laying in her cot fast asleep at the time. And he turned to me and said, "Look after your sister," upon which he left the room, and that was it. I believed it happened for years, and a conversation come up about my granddad, and I remembered like it was yesterday about seeing my granddad at the house that I grew up when I was little, and my mum informed me that it never actually happened when he was alive, because apparently my granddad never had visited us in that house. So it confuses me on this paranormal side of things, how a family member, once passed over, can visit you in a place that they've never been before. It's just one of the few things that confuses me. Anyway, it seems my destiny to hear and see the paranormal, and it's not something that I've chosen, but this is what's happened in my life, and it has now become kind of a passion for me. I am very interested in the paranormal, and other people's stories, and when I was about 11, 12, I think I was about 12 years old. I lived in a bungalow with my nan, and my granddad had not long passed away, and this is my other granddad. And I recalled sometime later to my nan of sitting with my granddad and him talking to me about his passion for making bread, and it just seemed such a normal thing. I didn't think anything more of it, and until I was talking to my nan about it much sometime later, and when I told her that it was just me and my granddad, she said that there was no way that could have been, because she whenever me and my sisters went to stay with my nan and granddad over a weekend, my nan and my nan would take time off work, holiday time, to spend with her grandchildren. And I had it in my mind that my nan wasn't there and she was working. And she said, absolutely not. You would never have been there just with your granddad. And when I thought back on it, I remembers how it, the room seemed quite dark, and like the curtains were pulled. And I know that my nan and granddad would always pull the curtains back, and I remember sitting there, and I know that my sister would have been there as well had we have stayed over there for a weekend. But I don't recall my sister being there either. It was just me and my granddad. And I do believe now, from what my nan has told me, that I did actually have a visit from my granddad, although I can't recall the date or anything like that. And but I do recall, I do really genuinely believe, when I think back in my mind on that time, that I did generally have a moment with my granddad since he passed away. And and again, I wasn't scared, and it was awesome to think that my granddad come back and paid a little visit to me. But at the time, I just never thought of it like that. And now, all these years later, I live in a house that I moved into back 2002, and from the word off, have experienced paranormal experiences. And not only myself, but my partner and my children at different times. I've so many things have happened in this house. I genuinely believe that it is one of the most haunted houses in the UK. I've got no evidence to suggest that it is one of the most haunted houses in the UK, but so much has happened that is so unexplainable, and I always try to find a reasonable explanation for things that have happened in this house. And the very first thing that happened on the very first night when we moved into the house was, upon decorating the house all the way through, and the kids' bedroom was beautiful. Beautiful lilac paint on the walls, and it was a girl's bedroom, and all the furnishings, the carpet, everything was brand new, and it was really nice. And the first night, they were quite young as well at the time. I'll just say that they was quite young at the time. And the first night that we moved, we were living in the house, was awful. My children never showed any sign of illness whatsoever. We'd aired the house out. There was no paint fumes in the room or anything like that. We completely aired out the bedroom. And on the first night, my children could not stop being sick. And my children were sick on the carpet, and it was bright orange. And as much as I tried to clean it up off the carpet, it completely stained the carpet. And they were really ill, and they'd been fine up until we stayed there that first night. And I'm not saying that sounds very paranormal, but it was it was quite absurd knowing that my children hadn't shown any sign of illness, even up to going to bed. But in the night, they started throwing up and they couldn't stop. It was just awful to witness it. And this was the start of many things that have since happened in the house. And I will go on to tell you more, but on this occasion, I'm just going to leave it to that. And I hope that you will like this video, subscribe to want to come back, see me again for my next video, where I'll tell you a little bit more about what has happened here at this house. And I thank you very much for watching me and listening to my story so far. Thank you.